what must happen for the Big 12 to get into the 12-team college football playoff this year? And I'm only going to address the Big 12 because we already know that SEC, ACC, and Big 10, as well as the group of five, potential group of five, whether it's Boise State or Tulane or Army, we already know that. It's just the Big 12. That's the one in doubt. It's only the Tulane and Army only will occur if the Big 12 hurts itself too much. And we know the bias for the committee. I'm just calling the way it is against the Big 12. And the CFP playoff chair said it as much, Ward Manuel, and he was asked if Boise's 17-13 win at Wyoming affected the committee's evaluation of them. Wyoming is currently 2-9 and 1-5 in the Mountain West. And he said, well, Boise won and we value winning. And we value how the teams play in the end, the scoreboard matters. We have ... We have some people on the committee that played at Wyoming and when they were coaches and they really say it's a tough environment to play in. And obviously Wyoming gave Boise State a great game and Boise State won. I'm going to just call it the way it is. That's a bunch of hogwash and baloney. Just not to be super rude here. It's just, come on. BYU beat Wyoming bigger than Boise State. You can't deny that fact. Same thing goes for Arizona State. And yet Boise State moved up a spot in the college football playoff? That does not make sense. That's kind of like talking to both sides of your own mouth, dude. And you could we could tell that, well, that there is bias against the Big 12. And it's no secret. So, what must happen for the Big 12 just to make sure to get a playoff spot? Well, first of all, I'm going to just mention the other games. Like, we need Tulane to lose this week in the American against Memphis. And I know that game is at home. It would also help if Army would lose to UTSA. And I know they're not ranked. I know. That way they don't get a quality win. And obviously, if both do win, we need Army to beat Tulane in the American title game. That is obvious. That would really help the Big 12. And another thing, we need Boise State to lose this week if they can, or to Oregon State. And I know Oregon State is not that good. I know they're 5-6, but they could make it close. They could. They got a lot to play for. After all, they don't want to miss a bowl game. And we'll have to wait and see on who's going to represent it for the Mountain West. But whoever, and obviously I would love it if UNLV were to lose to Nevada, but how realistic is that? And UNLV is hosting. It's a rivalry game, though. I think that game might be closer. And obviously it would help for them to lose. Just be honest. That way it's no top 25 win, and that's the only top 25 win that Boise State even has. Look at the strength of schedule for Boise State when compared to the two lost Big 12 teams. I'm serious. And that's just naming, like, for just this week alone for the Mountain West. And obviously, if Boise State were to lose in the Mountain West title game, that would really help. I mean, that way, Boise State has 2 losses, and they shouldn't get in, for one. And even if, like, the American stuff happens, like that, what needs to happen, then I think the Big 12 is in a lot better spot. I think they would be a lot better spot, for sure, in all this. And we already know the American title game is Army versus Tulane anyway. It's a matter of who's the home team. That's really the biggest question on that, to be honest. And yeah, Boise State has played, like, they're playing the Mountain West plays 7 conference games. The Big 12 plays 9. That's tougher. Look how many power conference opponents when compared to the two resumes. Or same thing goes for the group of fives. Tulane lost to a team in Oklahoma that barely made a bowl game. And even if they do beat LSU, which I don't see happening, but they lost to a 7-loss team. And if they lose to a 6-6 team, the only reason why Oklahoma even made a bowl game, besides that win last week, by the way, is that main game as a buy-in. Like, you pay to beat them. I'm just telling the truth. Obviously, there's Colorado State, and that is in the mix as well to make the to the Mountain West title game. And honestly, Colorado State has to beat Utah State. They have to beat them. And obviously, if Colorado State were to get in the Mountain West title game and beat Boise State, that would really help a lot for the Big 12. And I know the AD at Boise State, and he might not like me for saying that, but you gotta admit the Big 12 is getting disrespected. I mean, I'm just telling the truth. Boise State's getting a little bit too much love, and it's because of Ashton Genty. And the only loss is to Oregon, and it was close. But I don't. If that game was replayed now, I think Oregon beats them bigger. I really do. And look, BYU beat right now is the top team in the ACC in SMU. That's a quality win, and it pretty much tells me that the committee is saying, Big 12, go down to 8 conference games. That way you can win more. I don't get it. Now, that's just outside what needs to happen from the outside. Obviously, if Boise State were to lose either this week or the next week, that would really help the Big 12 a lot. Especially to get rid of Boise State as a playoff team. And same thing goes for Tulane. Obviously, if Tulane and Army do play each other in the American title game, we need Army. The Big 12 needs Army to win. And obviously, for the Big 12's sake, they need Arizona State to win against Arizona. I'm sorry, Arizona fans. But to help the conference more, you need Arizona State to win. And the same thing goes for BYU as well. Just to get a guarantee, and it's not including Iowa State as well. Have both of those teams win. That way you get a top 20 showdown, and the College Football Playoff Committee has no choice but to say, oh, more quality win. I just want to go over what needs to happen. We already know about the SEC and Big Ten. We already know about that in ACC, and it seems like they're going to get 2 teams in now. I mean, in Miami, Florida, as long as they win. But obviously, if they do lose this week, I think they're done. I think they would be. And obviously, if Clemson goes to the ACC title game, we need Clemson to lose. I'm just saying, and have SMU only. And maybe Miami, Florida still sneaks in, even if Clemson does lose. But to have Clemson get a 3rd loss would really be helpful. I'm just want to make that obviously clear that we need some things to happen to just to guarantee the Big 12 to get a college football playoff spot for this year in the 12-team college football playoff. And then we need either Iowa State, if it's Arizona State and Iowa State, it doesn't really matter to me who wins because it's a 2-loss team and they have a better resume than Boise State. They have more power conference games. The strength of schedule is better. I mean, look how many winning record teams does Boise State beat. I mean, I'm just going to count them out right now. Georgia Southern, yeah, that's a good one. I'm just want to count it out right now. So Georgia Southern, if Georgia Southern is a winning record team, that's one. Honestly, they lost to Oregon. Portland State, you can't really count that. Even if that's a winning record, that's an FCS. And Portland State's a losing record anyway, so you get the whole point. Washington State, that's 2 winning record teams so far. It's not that I'm anti Boise State. It's just the Big 12 needs more respect, and the only way they're going to get more respect is other teams losing, and obviously they don't need any more upsets as is to cannibalize itself as a conference here. And Utah State's a losing record, as we all know. They are. Same goes for Hawaii, I believe. That's a losing record. So really 2 winning record teams. And that's within the first 6 games here that Hawaii. UNLV, that's 3. San Diego State. And look, Boise State barely beat Nevada too. Yeah, San Diego State's a losing record, and honestly, Nevada's a losing record. So that's really just 3 winning record teams. San Jose State, they're gonna make it to a bowl. That's 4. I mean, that's just 4 right now. And also, we know about last week. So really, 4 teams are gonna beat that are winning record. And if they lose this week, they're gonna lose to a winning record team. That's just naming not how many games out of 12 would they beat. And honestly, in the Maryland West title game, it's going to be winning record no matter what if they do win. So that's really potentially 5 teams. And let me look at the those few Big 12 contenders. And I'm not including, obviously, if it's like a 4-loss Baylor or Texas Tech that wins the Big 12, they should not go to the playoff. They're not going to get in. They're not ranked high enough. They're not going to be. That's Captain Obvious. So I'm not going to go over those scenarios. Oh no. Even Colorado, it would take so much chaos for them. So now, obviously, Iowa State beat Iowa. That's a good win. I mean, and Iowa was ranked at the time. And they won on a field goal, I know. But, come on. Arkansas State is a winning record team, so that's 2 of them. Baylor is now a winning record team, that's 3. West Virginia is winning record, that's 4. Texas Tech, yeah. So really, they're same, but whose schedule is tough? Whose schedule is tougher? And obviously, if they do beat Kansas State this week, that would be 5. So who should get the edge between those 2, Boise State and Iowa State? I would think Iowa State. More winning record teams, and honestly, if they do win this week and then win the Big 12 title game, they would have back-to-back ranked wins, and that would really help the Big 12 a lot. Now, let me look at Arizona State. That is 16th, and I might as well go over Colorado too, for the heck of it, besides BYU. So, how many winning record teams has Arizona State? Obviously, forget the first 2 games. I already know. Wyoming is a losing record. Mississippi State's definitely a losing record. Texas State's a winning record. That's 1. Yeah, just really 1. Kansas State and BYU, that's just 3 teams. Yeah, that's the problem for them is, and it's not mentioning their losses. I'm just want to just go over this exercise because obviously if they do beat Iowa State, that'll be 4. And then it's potentially a debate, Boise State or Arizona State. But whose schedule, power conference schedule is tougher when you have 9 conference games when compared to 7 group of 5s. I'm just saying. I want to just go over like BYU as well. But you get the gist of this exercise that I'm doing here, guys, because look, the Big 12 needs to find a way. Like, as a Big 12 person that wants the Big 12 to be good in football and getting 12-team college football playoff, they need to find a way to get in with some help, obviously. But if they don't cannibalize itself, it will really help. BYU beat SMU, and I get that's with a different quarterback, but come on, that's 1 win. That's Kansas State's a winning record team. Baylor's a winning record team. That's 3, and this is as of right now, by the way. Yeah, not a lot of winning records for BYU, but that is if they even make to the Big 12 title game. Yeah, Kansas State is pretty much Kansas State's done. They have 3 conference losses. They're done. But I'm not even going to mention them. It would take so much chaos. To be honest, I mean, they beat Tulane. I mean, that's one winning record team. They beat Colorado. That's 2. And Colorado's really, and then the top 25. That's 2 of them. They beat, and yeah, just 2 of them really. And I don't think they're going to make the Big 12 title game anyway. And honestly, Texas Tech and Baylor, no way they should be in the 12-team college football playoff if they do get to the Big 12 title game. With all that madness happening, I just don't see it. And honestly, Colorado, how many winning record teams? Nebraska is a winning record. Colorado State, that's 2. Baylor's 3. Texas Tech's 4. I mean, whose schedule? What is a tougher schedule? A few non-con games, then 7 teams, and like in a group of 5 conference, or is it 9 conference games in a power conference with only 3 non-conference games? You tell me, what's harder? I mean, and I know it's not equal, but when you look at the strength of schedule, Boise State's not as strong when compared to the Big 12. And the Big 12 literally has like 1, 2, and I apologize for looking down because I cannot memorize all this stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ranked teams in the college football playoff right now. And yet, they're getting disrespected. They don't need any more chaos. Obviously, Arizona State, Iowa State, you win, you're in. And set up a top 20 matchup potentially, and it might be even higher because of results in front. And obviously, if Tennessee were to lose, to Vanderbilt, that would really help the Big 12 a lot. That really would. And honestly, same thing goes for Indiana if they lose to Purdue, but I don't see Purdue beating them. But you get the point. It would really help. I mean, and obviously, if Clemson were to lose to South Carolina, then it eliminates them entirely, even if they go to the ACC title game with Miami, Florida losing. That's the thing. I don't see it. I don't see Clemson being SMU, regardless if they do get there. But Miami, Florida is a maybe. But that even then, it's not helpful for the Big 12. And honestly, basically, Tulane, we need them to lose this week and next week, or one of those 2 weeks. Really. And I think the Tulane loss is more likely to happen to Memphis than Army losing to whoever they play in UTSA. But you never know. This is why the games are played. I just want to go dive into this deep discussion about this, and I just find it hypocritical what the CFP chair said. It seems like that all the time, ever since 2014. Let's just admit it. Let's just admit that they're a bunch of they're just hypocritical on their statements. They say one thing, but they do another thing. They need to be more consistent. We're going to have to wait and see what happens to the Big 12 and all this. So, I apologize for this, rant or some discussion to what needs to happen for the Big 12 just to get to a playoffs, to get to just 1 college football playoff spot. I'm not asking for 2, just 1. Basically, you need your top teams to not lose. Set up a top 20 showdown. And obviously, if you get some help like Tulane losing, Boise State losing, that would really help a lot. Because as you could tell by the playoff bracket right now, Arizona State would be the 12th seed. We need Arizona State or Iowa State to win the Big 12 championship game. We need them to set up a matchup with each other, and then whoever wins that game, I think they should get in. And whether or not they're going to be a host team, a top 4 seed, who cares about that at this point? Yes, it would be more ideal to be a top 4 seed, but to be honest, they just need to get at 1 spot. So anyways, if you like this content, hit the like and subscribe button. See you guys later on the road to subscribers. Of course, the ultimate goal is 2,000 more. So my mind after this course, like video. Comment video really helps YouTube algorithm, so more people see it. Sharing video does help as well, so more people can watch. And if you're watching and subscribe, hit subscribe button, hit the notification bell as well. And obviously, if Army and Navy and Tulane don't lose this week, we definitely need Army to beat Tulane. Big 12 fans, I'm just saying, and be against Boise State this week and the following week, no matter what. I don't care if the Boise State AD that I know watches this. He knows where I'm coming from. He probably does. Because, look, he knows I am a Big 12 person, and I like that guy, and he's treated me nice and everything. It's just, in this certain situation, it would help for them to lose. I'm just saying.